Hey guys, this is Mrs. Schoenberg, and I have our Chapter 13-14 review sheet here. There's a few things I need to show you. I want you to know that this is the very last exam. This is the final exam, if you will. It is timed in Cengage, 75 minutes. Okay. You can use the helpful hint sheet, the one that shows you what the formulas are for the Chapter 14 ratios. There's a lot of ratios on this. So I need you to understand how to categorize cash inflow and outflow according to operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. There are several multiple choice and one drop-down question on that. Also, understand which transactions from a list are non-cash transactions that wouldn't affect the statement of cash flows. So Chapter 14, the sheet of how to do the following calculations is provided, or know that you can use that sheet. It's called Helpful Hints. I'll put a link to it, but it's also at the bottom of the Chapter 13 and 14 notes. And review problem 14.4a from your homework. These are all broken up into several different problems, but they do, it's quite a few points on this last exam. Finally, for this last one here, a couple little things here. Know how to do a statement of cash flow in direct method just for the operating activities, okay? This is a drop-down problem, quite a few points. Let's say I give you net income is $125,000, depreciation expense is $10,000, the loss on disposal of equipment $12,000, gain on a sale of a building $30,000. There was an increase in AR and a decrease in AP. So it'll look pretty similar to this, but cash flows from operating activities, remember this is the one where we start with net income. That number was given up above, and that was $125,000. The adjustment to reconcile, there are three things. We had depreciation, which is going to add $10,000. Then the loss on disposal is adding back $12,000. And then the gain on the sale is a subtraction of $30,000. Those weren't real cash transactions, so that's why we're either adding them back or subtracting them, basically doing the opposite. Changes in current operating assets and liabilities. This is where we had our increase in AR, so the accounts receivable went up, and that is a minus $8,000. So the increase was up, so we're going to subtract that because customers didn't pay us as much. Decrease, there was a decrease in accounts payable, okay, and that is also subtraction. Basically, the company paid more to their creditors, so their AP went down. Taking all these things into consideration, okay, going to add all that up, plus 125, plus 10, plus 12, minus 30, so on and so forth. We come to the net cash flow from operating activities. Here's some helpful hints on how we did that right up there above, okay? Finally, on the horizontal analysis problem, you had a pretty good review on this. There's some really nice videos, but here's what I want to note. Here's a formula I want you to note. Year 2 minus year 1 divided by year 1 times 100%. Okay, and we're not going to say negative. If it's negative, you're going to say decrease, so on and so forth. So this is kind of what this problem is going to look like. So A, notes receivable. We're going to look at this information from Friction Company. This was year 1 to year 2. Then using horizontal analysis, we're going to show the percentage change and direction, whether it was an increase or decrease. Okay, so from year 1 to year 2, was that an increase or decrease? It was a decrease, right? For letter A. For letter B, accounts receivable, was it an increase or decrease? It went up, so it's an increase. So on and so forth. That's how you handle that. So don't worry about putting the negative sign here. the increase or decrease pretty much tells you that. Okay, so for notes receivable, let's just make sure we're calculating this correctly. Using this formula, if you take the 32,000, oops, pardon me, let's take year 2 first. 28,000 minus 32,000 divided by 32,000 times 100%. Run that through your calculator. Note there's only going to be one decimal point here, so make sure you're rounding correctly. For letter A, you should get 12.5%. Okay. Letter B, this time you'd be working with accounts receivable. You take your 105 minus 95 divided by 105. And letter B, you're going to get 10.5%. Okay. So on and so forth. 7.5% for letter C. 10.7% for letter D. 10% for letter E. And F is 40%. So run those through your calculator, make sure you're doing your calculations correct. There is this horizontal analysis problem. Here is the helpful hints, again, that you can use this when you're calculating any of those financial ratios. Some of them are percentages, those you'll have to take by 100. Also, if it says to round to the nearest decimal, that's 1 decimal point, make sure you're rounding correctly. So that is your video review for the final exam. The password for the final exam is done with an exclamation point.